The pawpaw is a true native to North America and has a long history in the United States. The fruit of the pawpaw was a key component of American Indian diets. Indeed, the Shawnee even had a pawpaw month dedicated to the fruit in their calendar. Austin. Later, the Spanish discovered the pawpaw in 1541. The first European mention of the pawpaw dates to Hernando de Soto's 1540 Mississippi expedition, where a fellow traveler noted the fruit being cultivated by American Indians. Later, we learn from journal entries that it was the pawpaw that fed the Lewis and Clark expedition on their return trip in the fall of 1810. In fact, pawpaw fruits and nuts saved the expedition from starvation and death when in western Missouri their rations ran low and no game was to be found. Further, at least two U.S. presidents favored pawpaws. George Washington reportedly enjoyed them as his favorite dessert, and Thomas Jefferson was known to have grown pawpaws at Monticello, where he too enjoyed the delightful fruit. However, pawpaws did not become popular in Europe until the end of the 20th century. During the Great Depression, the pawpaw was also frequently consumed as a substitute for other fruits and were thus called the poor man's bananas bales, though the pawpaw continued to be an important fruit in the North American diet. Interest waned after World War II with the introduction of other fruits. Nowadays, most pawpaws are very difficult to find outside of a few local farm markets, and is why UNF takes pride in bringing this one true American fruit to our customers. Pawpaws have nonetheless found their way into American folklore. James A. Little wrote 1905, "We can never realize what a great blessing the pawpaw was to the first settlers while they were clearing the great natural forest and preparing to build cabins." Planting fruit trees was rather an experiment for a number of years. The pawpaw and a few other wild fruits of less value were all their dependents so far as fruit was concerned. Well, do I remember 60 or more years ago my father would take his gun and basket and go to the woods and return in the evening loaded with pawpaws, young squirrel, and sometimes mushrooms, of which he was very fond. But there will never be a recurrence of those days, which were the happiest of my life. Pawpaws also have found their way into Appalachian songs. The folk song "Way Down Yonder in the Pawpaw Patch" celebrates unself-consciously the prominence of the pawpaw in the lives of pioneers who settled the valleys of the southern Appalachian Mountains and the greater Ohio River Territory. In fact, pawpaws have been such an integral part of our lives. Many places in the US are named after the pawpaw, which include Paw Paw, W.W., Paw Paw, M.I., Paw Paw, K.Y., Paw Paw, OK, and numerous other towns in Illinois, Ohio, and Indiana. Here at UNF, we are doing our part to bring this once forgotten American fruit back to the dinner tables across America. Pawpaw trees were discovered in 1541 by the Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto on an excursion into the Mississippi Valley, and he sent samples of this plant back to Europe. William Bartram in 1776 stated in his botanical book, Travels, that he found pawpaw trees growing on the Altamaha River in Georgia and in East Florida, which he described as Annona incarna. The name later was updated by modern taxonomists. The fruit the size of a small cucumber, containing a yellow pulp of the consistence of a hard custard, and a very delicious, wholesome food. This fruit is agreeably flavored and considered to be the largest native fruit of North America. The pawpaw trees are said to be endangered or threatened in the states of New York and New Jersey, in the forests where it grows naturally. The pawpaw tree grows across most of the eastern United States as a native tree. Mature pawpaw trees produce fruits to wide by 10 long, looking and tasting very much like a banana. The fruit is liked immensely by most people and may be purchased at many outdoor markets in West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, etc. The pawpaw pulp has the consistency of creamy custard and may be eaten raw, baked, or used as a pie filling. The trees grow about 15 tall and have been known to produce as much as 60 pounds of pawpaws per tree. Some individual pawpaws weigh up to a pound each. Zones 510. Much interest has been recently directed towards research and development of improved varieties of the pawpaw at universities in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ohio. The large fruit is not well known in much of the United States, but its flavor and exotic shape make it a candidate for the expansive potential of specialty fruit markets in the future. Taste it once fresh and you will feel compelled to have some of these pawpaw trees growing in your personal fruit orchard. One of the great horticultural mysteries of the world is why have most pawpaw trees that were plentiful throughout early U.S. forests virtually disappeared from their natural habitat today? That answer may lie within the research results Peterson 1991 that showed that the pawpaw is sensitive to ultraviolet light. Thus, pawpaw seedlings may not grow back after the forests have been harvested. and there are very few virgin forests left in the United States. Pawpaws can be found growing there abundantly, but once the forests are clean cut, the pawpaw will not usually become re-established. These experiments must be clearly remembered when you order your pawpaw trees. They must be planted under partial shade of other trees. However, you may plant your pawpaw trees in the open. If the trees are grown under shade cloth for a couple of seasons, the tree will lose its sensitivity to full sunlight once it has become established, and the shade cloth can be discarded. Some gardeners wish to plant their pawpaw trees in pots for a couple of years under shady conditions, but this is not necessary if the above guidelines are followed. Since pawpaw trees are tap-rooted, growth will be slow during the first year, but after that, very rapid growth occurs afterwards. Pawpaw leaves are large, and that large leaf surface generally indicates a need for large amounts of soil moisture, and therefore, generally, pawpaws are found in their greatest numbers near river floodplains. Leaves or other organic composted materials are very beneficial to pawpaws. The skin of pawpaws is thin and edible and can vary in color from a light green to a golden yellow. Most people prefer to eat the pawpaw fruit after it becomes soft to the touch. The custard-like pulp tastes like banana and varies in color from white to deep orange. The seeds are few and large, thus, pawpaws are easy to eat raw. Most pawpaws are sold at roadside markets because the shelf life is short. Commercially, the pawpaw is important in juices, pies, cakes, custards, ice cream, and other processed products. The pawpaw tree was voted by Better Homes and Gardens in the year 2000 as the landscape tree of the year. The pawpaw and the pawpaw tree are loaded with beneficial health extracts. The bark contains fluids that demonstrate anti-tumor properties and have been used over the years to fight scarlet fever and red skin rashes. These extracts from pawpaw trees are highly useful as an organic insect killer pesticide. Pawpaw fruits are rich in minerals such as magnesium, copper, zinc, iron, manganese, potassium, and phosphorus. The fruit also contains abundant concentrations of vitamin C, proteins, and their derivative amino acids. There are a number of grafted cultivars of pawpaw, but their range of adaptation is very narrow, and many cultivars that produce heavy crops of large fruit in Kentucky, Indiana, or West Virginia do not perform satisfactorily in Georgia, Florida, Carolina, or Alabama. Consider buying improved seedling pawpaw trees, which appear to be more adaptable universally. Try some of these trees in your orchard for a real tasty treat. The pawpaw is a nutritious fruit. Overall, it packs almost the same amount of calories and dietary fiber as a banana. It has more protein and fat than an apple or an orange, but it's considered to be a low-fat fruit. In terms of protein, it contains all the essential amino acids. The pawpaw contains a type of phytochemical called an acetogenin in its twigs, bark, and leaves. This chemical is known to lower the production of adenosine triphosphate ATP in cells. ATP is a cell's source of energy, but it can also promote the growth of tumors once they've formed. Some experts believe this could have some effect against cancer cells, but there isn't enough research to support pawpaw's safety and effectiveness against cancer. Studies done in mice have had mixed results, and it hasn't been tested in humans. Acetogenins from the pawpaw fruit have also been found to kill head lice. In one small study, experts found that 16 out of 21 people who used an herbal shampoo with pawpaw extracts were able to fully get rid of head lice and nits. Before you eat it, a pawpaw needs to be fully ripe. To check if it's ready to eat, the fruit should feel soft to the touch. You can squeeze it like you would a peach. A ripe pawpaw should also give off a mango or banana-like smell. The color can range from yellow to green, and sometimes, it can have flecks on the skin like a banana. The skin is bitter, so it's best to remove it before you eat the fruit raw. Make sure to wash the fruit well before you eat it. Pawpaws are good for cooking and baking, too. You can use the soft, pulpy insides in pies, cookies, ice cream, cakes, frosting. The pawpaw fruit contains high amounts of a chemical called inonosin. This can be toxic to nerve cells and can affect brain function. If you're pregnant, doctors recommend avoiding pawpaw. For some, pawpaw can cause side effects like allergic reactions, vomiting, neurotoxicity symptoms such as weak limbs, memory loss, blurry vision, or headaches. If you have mild reactions, avoid the fruit. If it's an emergency, call 911 or head to the closest hospital. Pawpaw harvest season is usually last from late August to late October, but this may vary based on climate and the region it's grown in within North America. Because most local supermarkets don't sell the fruit, you're more likely to find it at a farmer's market when it's in season. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe.